Welcome. Today we're going to be going through my 1 week trading session. 7 trades, around a 76% win rate, 34% loss rate, if that matches the vocabulary. One big nothing burger. Absolutely nothing happened all day. We just had a bunch of zigzaggy kind of day. There was this trade right here that I was pretty interested in. It was a pretty nice, decent setup. We had a nice wick on the 5 minute over there. We had a decent setup on the 1 minute as well. And it was around the top of the scoop. Usually when you're shorting around the top of the scoop, it's pretty good. I do a 1-to-1, 10 points to 10 points, if I could say the word, the bracket order. 10 points to 10 points of risk to reward. That's my basic entry bracket for all of my trades. Got most of that ideas from Trades by Matt, which was pretty cool guy over there. This day was an absolute juicer. This day we took around 4 trades. So now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure most of my trades were done today and yesterday. And then I realized I have no recording footage for Monday, so I think I traded on Monday and I just didn't end up capturing that. Oh well, what can I say? But anyways, we have a pretty nice, I guess, we have a pretty nice opening. I say pretty nice opening to Thursday here, but it's not actually. It's just a break-even trade, which is not bad at all. I'm really glad that I at least ended up taking this trade. I was a little sketched out by it at first, because like I said, you know, scoop. We're talking about the scoop. We're right near the top of the scoop. So it definitely can get a little risky over there because our stop loss, if I remember correctly, our stop loss was, yeah, our stop loss was right below the top of the scoop. I don't know. The scoop is always just a scary play. But we ended up going break even on that, which is not bad at all. It's pretty nice, honestly. I'd rather go break even than take a full stop. But hey, things happen how they happen. We almost just barely got the fill there. We missed it by literally a couple points. I've had worse. I've had a couple ticks. I've had ones that have gone through the line, no fill. Couldn't tell you. This is literally a funded sim account. I don't even know how that happens. It's not like I'm waiting for anyone on the other side to actually buy anything. It's literally just a line. But anyways, either way, whatever. Maybe I'm not understanding how a funded sim actually works. Drink some of my coffee here. The coffee's cold. Gross. This one ended up being a little bit funky. We get this really nice wick. Extremely nice wick. And by extremely nice wick, I mean it's a pretty skinny wick. I don't usually play these kinds of plays, but the 1 minute order block is always really nice and works out pretty well most of the time. This time we got something a little bit funky that happened. It essentially was completely out of my control because then I also couldn't even move my stop loss break even or anything. I just kind of had to accept the L. Absolute monstrosity here of a performance. We wicked through the entry, just barely wicked through the entry, and then so around this point in the market, we start getting a whole lot of buyers in. Big volatility in the market. We love when that happens. We love when we start getting buyers in the market. Longing is always so much easier than shorting. I also tend to find a little bit more success in my strategy with longs, probably just because of how the market reacts off of longs, but shorting is also just as advantageous depending on the market conditions and really just the market bias for the day, if that's the way to say that. But we get an excellent, beautiful 10 close above our stop loss, which we love when that happens. I mean, our take profit, not our stop loss. Our take profit. We have a very nice setup right here with my point of interest, as I like to call them. And it's looking clean so far. it's really tough for me to take more than one trade in a day, and honestly, it just comes down to a mental thing. I get this mental block of like, I just took a trade, it was a winning trade, I don't want to give anything back to the market, so I'm just gonna stop for the day. But then that also bites me in the butt because when I go to, take a loss another day, it's just really, I don't know, patience is the key. Uh, Compound progression, all those kinds of things. But today, on a day like today, I decided that I don't know. I was feeling good. The markets were moving good. I had time on my hands. It's a day off of work. I was like, I gotta get this done. I gotta take these trades. And I stuck around for the market a little bit more after taking 3 trades essentially at that point. And I don't know. Oh yeah, you can see it right here. Okay, cool. Um, and then the market ends up doing exactly what I said it would do. The market ended up shoving itself through VWAP. The market buyers were there. We just flung through that, and we get another beautiful setup, especially with the 1 minute candle right there. I love the 1 minute candle structures on days like this. Um, you're just playing off of those wicks, playing off of the dojis, the hammer candles. Sorry. Um, and then this one right here, I believe, it's another hammer candle, and it just creates a really nice structure. You can really see the support and resistance levels, and you can really see like I guess the block. And the way my point of interest things work is that I use a 44 range chart, and with that 44 range chart, I use it as my entry point because that tells me that at that point right there where my entry is at, um, there's gonna be a reaction. Most of the time, there's gonna be a reaction. Usually, that's gonna be 10 points in my direction. Uh, and if it just straight up slips through and I get a full stop, it ends up being just a bad entry or just bad market conditions. And there was nothing I could do about that. It's just statistics. It's just trading. That's all it is. I've been having a little bit of a rough time and taking a lot of losses, if I'm honest. And I'm hoping that this journaling, my weekly journal, will help me feel better, be a little more conscious of the market, be a little bit more conscious of what's happening with myself, what my thought processes are, and just seeing how my trading is and how I'm improving as an individual as well, um, personality-wise with trading and everything like that. Um, I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but you might see something a little bit different, a little bit more interesting on my last day here. I noticed this on the day before because I decided that I, I could be a little bit too strict with my trading mindset, I guess. I could be a little bit too narrowed in and focused on and forceful into a thought process versus enjoying the process and figuring out new hypotheticals, figuring out new ways to look at the market, new angles. And what I found was that volume at my point of interest, the higher the volume was at my entry points, the more likely it was that the trade actually ended up working out in my favor. Whether I took the trade or not, just in general, just in opportunity based data. With all the opportunities that ended up happening with my trading style, I found a pattern, at least within the last 2 days. Of course, market conditions can change, things could be different. It might not be the same in, I don't know, 3 months, 2 weeks, tomorrow. So I decided to add a volume indicator down at the bottom. If we look at the bulls and bears, if down at the bottom over there, the volume is above average volume, then I think of that as a pretty good entry. This absolute monstrosity of a trade right here. I mean, a beautiful point of interest. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's not exactly. I mean, no, it is. You can see exactly with my mouse and stuff. I'm literally circling around it. Volume at that point of interest is higher than the average volume of all the other candlesticks. I also looked at the number. You can see my data box in the corner over there. I can tell that there was a lot of orders conducted at that area. So that tells me that when we break through that area and then we close 10 points above, the reason why I like to wait till 10 points above is because with my bracket orders and my thesis of my strategy is that Uh, when it closed 10 points above, that means that we now have 10 points of room from my entry point for the market to move in my desired direction. Uh, that's why I like to do the 10 point one-to-one bracket order, because I also accept that statistically from my backtesting and the data that from my entry points, most of the time, at most, uh, the market moves within a 0 to 10 point loss of my entry. Again, full stops, I usually just consider them bad entries. Anything after that is just data and numbers working out on its own. And tends to work up pretty amazing. I mean, I took my first payout using specifically just that strategy. As of late, all of my trading has really just been conducted on this strategy right here. There are new strategies that I'm trying to implement, trying to adapt, trying to gain more, allow myself to accept more hypotheticals, more thesis, and really attack the market from a lot of angles and have fun with it, really is what it comes down to, especially when there's a lot of opportunity like today. There was a lot of other trades that I saw that I ended up really liking, but I just didn't end up taking them because I, again, very narrowed in on my vision on what's been working. But of course, what's been working has been, it works. So really just comes down to wanting to open myself to more opportunity, because there have been streaks, I'm talking like a month almost at a time, where my strategy doesn't really work at all. Either it appears and we miss all of our entries by a couple ticks, by a couple points. Either it literally doesn't appear at all. Either all of our entry points get invalid. It's just an absolute disaster, and that's really tough on my mental game. So it's up to me to learn to adapt and accept new hypotheticals and new theses that I know statistically through experience as well with myself that have worked. It's just really up to me to get myself out of that narrowed vision of, oh, this strategy got to my payouts, this strategy got me to all my funded accounts, but this solely narrowing on this strategy is also kind of almost making me simultaneously aware. It's kind of a paradox, because statistically I guess it's been working, yeah. But on my mental game, it's definitely a lot tougher. And then because it was a Friday, I also get stuck in this mental space on a Friday of like, oh, it's a Friday. I want to end my week on a positive. I want to keep my mental capital high. So then going into next week on Monday, I'm gonna be more prone to wanting to trade. It can kind of be counteractive or counterintuitive as well, because then I can come in on Monday like, oh, like I gotta start. Dude, trading is just. That's all I can say. That's Friday, man. That's essentially my recap. We be out here trading. That's really all. Drinking coffee, trading, talking to a camera, journaling, rambling. It's really all it is. Just really just a whole bunch of yip yap. But it's fun, and I enjoy talking about trading. I don't mind it at all. I'm hoping to keep this hot streak going. You know, one trading recap a week, because it's a weekly recap. So that makes sense. And yeah, GG's.